Well, good morning to you, and of course, happy Thursday. As you're waking up, we are dealing with a little bit of smoke out there. We've had several wildfires break out near Sell Creek, Walker County, even down into Jackson County over the last couple of days. A minor one, Stringers Ridge, last night. So we've had several fires. Fire danger is still going to be relatively high today. Air quality not going to be great. We're looking at moderate conditions in the yellow, code orange conditions across northwest Georgia, Chattooga, down into Dade, Walker, Catoosa, Whitfield, Murray, Jackson, Marion, and Hamilton and Bradley counties all dealing with that smoke. So a lot of smoke out there. If you have respiratory issues, probably want to limit your time outdoors because the smoke's kind of just going to hang around. Again, we have a relatively stagnant air mass overhead, I should say, and winds are going to gust a little bit today, but that smoke's still going to stick around. So just be mindful of that today. Try to avoid any burning because it's still going to be awfully dry out there, especially for the first part of the day. As for your temperatures, we climb back in the mid to upper 70s. So once again, it's going to be another very warm day above normal temperatures. We're also going to have the potential for a few spotty showers. Here's your future cast by 2 p.m. Again, not a whole lot going on here. I'm kind of fast forward this. 8 o'clock, still a couple spotty showers. So more than likely, most of us are going to stay dry. But I wouldn't be surprised if we had a few showers or storms develop, especially south of the Tennessee state line, some of which could even become on the stronger side. I think any severe weather stays to our south today. But again, the coverage not all that impressive. Tonight, a few additional showers. I think Friday we generally stay dry, but we can kind of zoom out. We are going to be tracking this strong system. And again, we've been talking about it all week. That's going to develop a pretty strong line of storms late Friday evening, likely up towards Chicago, parts of the Midwest and Central Plains. And that line's going to try to form across Middle Tennessee early Saturday morning. I think a lot of this Saturday morning is kind of going to peter out before it gets here. But we still can't rule out a strong storm or two west of Chattanooga early Saturday morning. And that's kind of in round one. Round two develops a little later in the afternoon. So here's the thing. Saturday's tricky, especially the afternoon between about 2 and 8. What happens then is going to be very important to how bad the severe weather outbreak ends up being. If we get more sunshine, we'll have more fuel to the fire, and we'll have that chance for these discrete individual cells to develop out in front of the main system that's going to come through Saturday night. And when you have that, those cells are more likely to rotate. We're going to have a lot of wind shear, but if we get more rain Saturday morning, that will kind of dampen some of the instability and probably help us out long term. So as we get more high resolution model data in, we'll have a better idea of where the tornado threat's going to set up, how high it may be, and exactly what we're looking at. But I think Saturday afternoon, we definitely need to be on guard for those individual cells developing through the early evening. That's certainly going to be a possibility. Hopefully it doesn't work out that way. We need more rain Saturday morning because a lot of times we get more rain. That kind of helps stabilize the atmosphere to some degree. But again, this is our in-house model and it only goes out to Saturday afternoon, so we're not quite in range. And then as we take a look at the American model, which is our global model, lower resolution, it looks like that main line comes through a little bit later on. And these models are helpful days in advance, but we need the high resolution stuff to really start to understand exactly what these threats are going to be. We still have a pretty good idea because the parameters are going to be high, but after about 9 o'clock through, we'll say 2-3, this moves from west to east. And along this main line, you'll have a few tornadoes possible. Primary threat with that would be damaging straight line winds. Plus, it's going to be very breezy outside of that with those gradient winds. And then after about daybreak on Sunday, this is all going to be into the Carolinas. So it's going to come in waves. The first coming in early Saturday morning, really not going to be impactful. Saturday afternoon, we're watching between 2 and 8 for maybe a few individual cells developing. That could be supercellular in structure, and then the main event comes through after about 9 p.m. through 3 a.m. So check this out. This is Friday through Friday night. We are in a marginal risk for most of our coverage area, but I really don't think that's going to be a big deal tomorrow. We're not going to see any rain. That would be early Saturday morning, if anything. But look at this, a moderate risk now in effect. That's level 4 out of 5 stuff for Peoria. I still don't know if I said that right. Springfield, St. Louis, Mississippi River down through parts of Tennessee. That enhanced risk in the orange. So we're going to have that front developing, and along that front we're going to have a lot of shear, a lot of helicity, a lot of rotation possible. So that's where we're going to have the threat for some tornadoes tomorrow, especially, you know, across parts of Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, and then Saturday, wow, I need more sleep, obviously. Saturday, we have the risk for severe weather here. Level 3 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center. And as we zoom out, I mean, it's a broad risk. And look at that. That's really concerning stuff down here. Jackson, Montgomery, Mobile, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, level 4 out of 5 risk, which you don't see those too often this far in advance. 3 days out, level 4 out of 5 risk. Confidence is pretty high. This could be a fairly significant severe weather outbreak. Of course, where you have the red shades, that's going to be the highest potential for tornadoes, but still pretty high end threat here. And let's see if we can change this over. So this would be your chance for significant severe weather. So in that red shade, which includes us, that's where you're going to have the highest potential for very strong storms. And that's the wrong day. That was for Friday. I'm trying to keep this brief, I'm sorry. So that significant severe threat is going to be in that red shade. And for some reason, this just does not want to work for me. There we go. So that's going to be your best chance. We'll delete these numbers. From Knoxville all the way down to Birmingham, Mobile, Jackson. We need to be weather aware in this entire zone on Saturday, because there's going to be the chance for, you know, tornadoes, especially to our south and west, because we are going to have, again, this is your energy. So we're going to have a little bit of that today, and then building back in Saturday morning. And look what happens Saturday afternoon. This is the NAM model, so short term, that goes out all the way to about 2 o'clock on Saturday. That's about as far as our high resolution stuff goes. A lot of storm fuel coming straight out of the Gulf. We're gonna have a lot of wind energy, air masses kind of colliding, so there's going to be a potential for a pretty significant outbreak across much of the South and parts of the Ohio Valley as we move into Friday, Saturday, and then transitioning to the East Coast on Sunday. So this is a multi-day event we're tracking. Going to be some strong upper level winds, and for us, again, just for brevity's sake, I'm going to try to keep this moving. High winds are my main concern as of now, but certainly is going to be a tornado threat developing Saturday afternoon, and then again with that main line. I think it's going to be highest in places like Alabama and Mississippi and maybe towards the Gulf Coast. But as we get that high resolution model data in, we're really going to get a better idea of the extent of that tornado threat. Plus, we're going to have strong gradient winds. Talked about this last couple of days. Saturday afternoon, the winds are going to pick up, gusting to 40, sustained at about 25. And then the gusts really pick up late Saturday into early Sunday as that main line and cold front moves through. That's where we can have the gust over 50 miles per hour, and this is your non-thunderstorm gust. And that'll continue all the way through Sunday. As for your rainfall totals, 1 to 3 inches still look pretty on par for what to expect. So for Saturday, again, multiple rounds of severe weather possible. Damaging winds going to be the highest threat, but also going to be the potential for tornadoes here in the Tennessee Valley. I think the threat is probably going to be a little bit higher to our south, but nonetheless something we need to monitor closely over the next couple of days. So I have multiple ways of receiving those alerts. Sunday we clear out. St. Patrick's Day looking a lot better. I know there's some St. Patrick's events going on Saturday afternoon and evening. Not going to be great. Make sure you have a place to go just in case there is a warning. If you're going to be out on the town, have that local 3 weather app handy. Make sure you're paying close attention to the weather. Again, we don't want to scare or alarm anyone. It's common for us to have severe threats this time of the year, but we want you to be prepared, to have a plan, because if this does materialize and we do have a severe weather outbreak, of course, we'll keep you covered wall to wall here and on Facebook and on our socials, but we also want to make sure you're prepared ahead of time. Hopefully it busts. Hopefully it doesn't work out, but it's always better to be prepared, never scared. So that's all I really have for you today. We'll have another video tomorrow as we get some of the high resolution model data in, and of course Chief Meteorologist David Carnes will be in tonight. So stay tuned and have a great day.